Hi all, and welcome to Steve's jungle stroke Jurassic stroke exotic garden diary. Delete as appropriate when I decide what the title is going to be. This is the first sort of proper video I'm doing. I did a couple at the end of last year, which I will put out, but yeah, this is the first one for this year, so production values might not be great. Essentially what I'm trying to do is just create a kind of Jurassic primary jungle type vibe to the garden, you know, as you do. So, but for now I've got most of my plants in, and I figure we could just do a quick walk around because I've got some nice ferns and that, and then we can sort of follow their growth as they go through. So they've all been in for anywhere between, well, I started putting them out the third week of March this year. It's the first week of June now, just because I waited for the minimum temperature to be 9 degrees 2 days in a row, and then I was desperate to get everything out. But we'll go through all the ins and outs of it on other such videos. So anyway, let's crack on. So this one is just a fig tree. I've been a bit brutal with it. It's just been left outside really, as it is. I mean, there was no foliage on it obviously, but yeah, so we'll deal with that when we come to it. But the foliage is nice on that. I'm going to try and do a fan training on it, but I've not got to it yet. As you can see, I've not pruned it or anything, so that'll be fun. They are, I don't know, they're either a couple of dahlias or some climbers that I bought, but yeah, we don't need to worry too much about them. You'll have to excuse me, I'm not a expert, so I'll be reading off a notepad, so forgive me for any mispronunciations. Again, this is just some climbers that I grew from seed, and then I hardened them off in various ways, so I'll sort them out. It's been a couple of weeks since I've done any weeding, so yeah, I'll sort them out and give them some food and see if they do anything. I dug up some bamboo from my mum and dad's allotment that they had. I was a bit brutal with it. I just took my mattock, which is hiding behind the barbecue and wheelbarrow, and just basically halved it as it was, and then just walked off with it. But it was raining, so I was a bit brutal with it. So I just built this planter up. I'm going to render it, but I might actually change the shape of it. But I'll say basically the rule I've given it is, if the bamboo survives, then I'll leave it as it is this year. If it all dies off, which some of it looks like it is doing, then I'll take it all out and redo it and re-put the things in and see what happens. There's those other climbers that I was on about. They're sort of, yeah, they're not doing great. But anyway, on to the main event. I've just got some bits of mint there for mojitos, a few sunflowers. I've got 2 sunflowers there as well, which you can see, which are doing alright. And funny enough, they were just seeds that I just casted off when there wasn't even a flower bed there. I just chucked them in the dirt and they've grown just like that, so, you know, chuck them in the dirt. Right, anyway, so let's get on. So it's mainly ferns, but they're all the other side because this is a full sun bed. It gets the sun all day from about 10 o'clock through to 6-7 o'clock. So I've gone for, you know, ferns generally don't like sun. I don't think. We might find some that do. As you can see, I've got a couple in there, but anyway, let's go through. I've just bought some other plants just because this is a sort of will be a seating area around here. So I've tried to get some sort of plants and flowers to look at, and some fragrant flowers without trying to depart too much from the theme. So this one here, as you can see, is a Nicotiana Sylvestris, which I think is otherwise known as a tobacco plant. Apparently it's perfumed. I don't know if it's the flowers are perfumed. You can see they're going to be little white tubes. We'll see what happens with that. I'll let you know if it smells of smoke or not. That there, the second one in, is a little Ensete Maurelii, a little banana plant, which I've just literally chucked in there just for now. It's all a bit experimental, so we'll see what happens. He's doing alright though. I'm fully aware it's a house plant. It's a Bromeliad. I've just put that out about last week. I was hoping it was going to be hot weather. It is hot, but it's not beaming hot sunshine, so he's not doing too well. This one up here is a Eucomis, or pineapple lily, I think they're called. I don't know what colour, we'll find out. But he's doing alright. What I did with that one, because it said on the pot that it looks really well drained soil, so I dug down a little bit deeper than I normally would, and put in a sort of inch or two of grit, grit and gravel just down at the bottom. You can see these little climbers here as well. These are the same as the other ones. I just chucked these here. I'm just doing a bit of experimenting with them. This is a sunflower which I just chucked out. He seems to be doing alright. This here is a Blenchum Chilenese. That's a fern, obviously. It's quite, the texture of it's quite sort of hard, if you see what I mean. It's more like a holly leaf than anything else. So we'll see how that does. That's it. That is in full sun, like proper full sun. So we'll see. That's a new frond it's put out. So we'll see how he does. This one here, this purple one, is a Hedychium, I want to say, a ginger Greenii. So we'll see what that does. It's growing quite quick. It was only 2 leaves up when I put it in about 2 weeks ago. I had to cut off one of the stalks because it sort of, I gave it about 5 or 6 days, but it was dead, if you see what I mean. So I just thought I'd cut it off so it could just chuck in there. You can see with bananas, I actually bought them last year in September, kept them in pots. They only grew a little bit, probably up to where that first cut in the leaves is up, so I don't know what you'd call that, about 20 inches maybe. And I just literally chucked them in the garage in their pots, didn't do anything. Just left them in the back of the garage, and yeah, put them out probably about 6 weeks ago now. So you can see they've thrown up a few pups. The leaves are, I don't know, maybe 50 centimetres, something like that. You can see it's throwing out new ones, but whenever it gets windy and rainy, like, you know, around the country in England, you know it's because one of my bananas has thrown up a new leaf and it just wants to tear it up. I've not had much luck with the wind, but we'll see how they go. But he looks healthy enough to me, so apart from I need to take these bits of grass out. This one here, this fern, which is behind the bench, so it is actually dappled shade for the most part, if you want to call it that, is a Polystichum Muntium. So sorry, that made me laugh. So I think it's a sword fern. That's only just gone in the last couple of weeks, so we'll see how that does. You can see the big sunflower at the back here. Again, yeah, just chucked it in the mud when it was there, so I didn't even know it was there. Oh, I did, but you know, didn't expect it to do anything. This is a Canna, Canna Iridiflora X Ehemanii. We'll see how that does. He's just thrown out that big leaf. He's just thrown up in the last 2 weeks. He's got another one coming. And the thing I like about these two is they're quite banana-y, like the way they grow, as in the spiral coming out from the centre. This one's obviously just coming up to the end of it, but that's how they seem to grow. You can see I was a bit brutal pruning it the other day, so apologies if that offends you and you feel bad for him. So onto this bed, which is dappled light in the morning, and then when the sun comes over that tree for the couple of hours onwards, then it drops down there. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have done that. And goes down, so I guess part shade to full sun. Again, another banana. He's not doing as well as the other one. This is a bit more exposed here, so a few of the leaves I had to cut off just because they were wrecked. But it's thrown up some pups, but I don't know whether it does that because it's distressed. But you can see they do look quite good. I'm hoping that in a few years' time, if I can look after them, I know I'm going to have to wrap them up, but they might get up to sort of head height. So anyway, let me just check which way we're doing this. So we'll start over here. That's another Dhalia in there, that little end one, just one that I grew from seed, so we'll see how that does. That one is a Dryopteris Affinis, Cristanta the King. So you can see how he's doing now. It's quite nice, about 30 centimetres spread on him. he's in, yeah, like I said, sort of more full sun, so it'd be interesting to see how he does. These two here are Kniphophias, which are kind of like red hot poker plants. Foliage isn't great, but at the time, about 4 weeks ago, that bed over there wasn't built, it was all building site type stuff, all this sort of stuff. So I just chucked them in here, and I just can't be asked to move them now because they're in, so I'll give them their time in the sun, as it were. This one here is a Polypodium Vulgare, which is quite nice. It's I don't know if I'm supposed to cut these old fronds off or something like that, but we'll just do it. Looks like there's a big weed coming out of the back there. He's quick, so I have to take him out pretty quickly. This one here is a Dryopteris Felix-Mas Cristante. I think the Cristante refers to it being split at the end of the fronds. Like if you look at this one here, can you see at the end of the frond it's sort of split into 2 or 3. I think that's when it says Cristanta, that's what that means. This one doesn't seem to be doing it, so it's probably labelled up wrong. Oh, there's a label there. No, it's okay. Right, a couple more dahlias there. This is the lady fern. I've just put this one in last week. It's already quite big, this one. It's up to my sort of knees. It's up to my sort of knees, so we'll see how that does. Again, not full sun, but it may as well be. Another Polypodium Vulgare here, same as that one, the other side of the banana. See how that one does. And this one here is, I'm not sure, it's blank, but I guess it actually looks like that one over there a little bit, but we'll do more on that. But that's how that's going. So these are all quite small at the moment, in and around 30 centimeters wide by 20 centimeters high, something like that. So let's carry on. This is going to be, I'm going to get a Lophosauria quadrupinata in here, and a Tetrapanax, but as you can see, it's a sort of, you know, ongoing thing. So this one here is which one is it? Oh, sorry, I've gone the wrong. I'm gonna have to come over here. These are the ones we're going to go through, but it's because my notepad is ordered in a certain way. I have to do it a certain way, otherwise I'll be forever losing where I am. So here I've got a climber, which is the Fatshedera X Lizei, which I think is half Fatsia, half ivy. It's getting a bit brutalised by aphids. I don't know if you can see them in there at the back on this little stalk, which I will sort out at some point. I'm just giving the bugs a chance to move in before I start spraying them off, but we'll see. This is a Dryopteris Wallichiana. This is quite big already. This is more 75 centimeters. You can see it's a Cristante one, I think, unless it's something to do with whether the fronds are reproducing or not. I don't know, but you can see the ends are split, so we'll see what happens. I've got a couple of silver ferns here. These are kind of, this bed is, that over there is almost full shade, and this here is light just because of the way the sun goes over that fence. So this is a Erythium Niponicum Crested Surf, the top one, and then the bottom one is same again, but Metallicum. They're not doing great, I'll be honest. I think it's because they're in they get a lot of the sun, so I might move them at some point. This one here, it says, is a Cyathea Cooperi, I think it was. Sorry, my camera's not great. Cyathea Cooperi, lacy tree fern. You can see it's quite sort of mean in there. It says it's fast growing tree fern, and this does get quite a lot of sun, so it will be interesting to see how this one goes. And I guess if it survives, I'm obviously going to do something with it, but I haven't worked out what yet. This is a little Dicksonia, just there's nothing on it. Okay. Right, sorry about that, I'm not sure what happened there. Yeah, so that's a Dicksonia. Don't know how far we got, but that's a Dicksonia, just a small one. This is a bigger Dicksonia which I just put in a week or two ago. It's only about a foot. These fronds are already on it. I've left them on. You can see a couple of them are mangled. It was just where they were grown in the little greenhouse thing that I bought it from. It was sort of tilted over, as you can imagine. If you imagine my notepad is kind of something, it's leant up against it that way, which is why this side's grown out nice and this is all bent. But I'll leave them on, cut them off. A couple I had to cut off, you can see I'll just cut them off a bit, what, about 3-4 centimetres up, just to help it grow. This one down here underneath it is, it's got like a little sort of light streak down the middle, Arachniodes Aristata Verigiata, so we'll see what that comes out like. This is a Fatshedera japonica, which is getting munched by aphids. I don't know if I can, I'm trying to grow, yeah, so I'm trying to grow it vertically, not horizontally. But when I started to train it, I saw loads of aphids eating the new growth, so I sort of thought, oh, I'll just leave it and see what happens when the old you know, bugs and ladybugs and all that move in. So I'm yet to see them, but we can hope. This is a Dryopteris Wallichiana, which is quite nice, doing really well there. I'm hoping it's going to sort of, the spread's going to drop down, new spread will come at the middle and it will go into a kind of you know, like a pyramid or that sort of 3D shape, if you sort of see what I mean. But he's up right now, he's kicking them out, so he's quite good. There's a little Asplenium Scolopendrium down there in between those two, but he's not doing too well. But I guess we'll find it. This is a Dryopteris Erytherosa Brilliance. I guess that's the sort of tinge it's got to it on the end there on the left. You can see it's slightly red. I've done a little experiment in the vertical garden here, so I bought some felt pockets and then I've bought some like hanging basket type felt, shoved it in there as a second sort of pocket, and then put some potting compost and whatnot in there. So we've got an Asplenium there, you can see that's doing really well. A trailing ivy there, which is not doing too bad. And another Bromeliad. This thing was in one of the pots that I got for something else, and it's actually, I can't read my writing, a Saxifraga Stolonifera Kinky Purple with an I. It says it's trailer when I looked it up online, but it might be a house plant, but I just shoved in there just because why not. Another Bromeliad which is doing better than the other one. This is a maiden hair fern, Adiantum venustum. I think it's a house plant, but we'll see how he does. Or if not, I might chuck him on the ground somewhere a bit sheltered. Another Asplenium that's doing really well up there when you consider like there's not much soil in there. But there we go. And then right at the top there's another ivy as well. And what I've done with these, you probably see my irrigation floating around. I'm just experimenting with it, but I've put one at the top and one in the middle. I'm hoping when it waters it will drip down through, but we will soon find out. And that's just strapped to one of them fence posts. I'll just cut the pockets up. They were in like a sort of sheet of 9 of them, so that's right. Okay, so this is a camellia next to it. So yeah, that's that one. These I think are Jurassic gold, Polystichum Setiferum. No, I might have got that wrong there, but never mind. This one here is this is really nice. This last month, I think it's been out about 6 weeks. This had a real nice, I don't know, like just a tinge, but the way it was sort of all coming up, it looked really good for the sort of first thing in spring. You can see it still looks great, like the way it's all growing. So hopefully that one will get bigger. We'll soon find out though. More heart's tongue ferns there, just because I quite like them, and it just changes it up a little bit. That's another camellia there. I don't know what it is, but the idea of the camellias is to take up the vertical space in this way. This one I'm hoping I'm going to grow it up this way, and then this one I'll grow up this way. And then what I might do over there is put a climber the other side of that Dicksonia, like the Fatshedera at the end is going to grow in the direction of the bamboo away from where we are at the moment. put one in some of that Dicksonia and grow it over here, and then that's kind of all that vertical space done. Probably a climber in here where that rock is, but yeah, we'll go through that at a later date. So this one here, let's finish it all up. This is a Polystichum Herrenhausen. This is going quite big already. I don't know how big it gets. Oh, there's the little thing for it there. So soft shield fern, Polystichum Herrenhausen. So what does that say? Height and spread 50 by 90. So it looks like it's going to get wider than it will higher, but that's quite good. It'll come over here, so I'm happy with that. This one here is a Matticea Struthiopteris. Apologies if I butchered that, I should get better. I think it's a shuttlecock form. Oh, there it is there. Ostrich feather fern. I think that is what that one might be on the end of that bed over there, so that's quite good. We've got one in sort of shade and one not so much. Oh yeah, just so you're aware, this is a full shade corner from this fence post to the vertical bit. That is full shade, that gets no sun. This gets a bit of sun later on in the afternoon. This gets it kind of in the morning, just about. And then the sun sort of works its way that way around the garden, if you like, if you can imagine that. So then I've got two, I think they're royal ferns, these Osmundia regalis, a bigger one and a smaller one. Funny enough, the bigger one I got the other day, and that one was there for about 2 weeks so far. Again, just seeing how they all do. I know it's going to take time for them all to settle and all that, but the weather's been good for it. It's been like hot and humid, but rainy as well. As you can see, the sun's coming out, so that's good. And then last but not least, this is another of the Polystichum Setiferum Herrenhausen, which is there. So yeah, quite a nice little collection. I haven't got any space for any more. We'll see how they go, who likes what doesn't like what, and sort of you guys can give me tips, and hopefully I won't kill absolutely everything in this garden, but we'll soon find out, and I'll take you through all this at some point, although I guess you can kind of see what's going on. But yeah, so look forward to the next video. Hopefully production quality and whatnot will only increase, but yeah, got to start somewhere. Okay, thank you very much for watching. See you in a bit.